before puberty, you're gonna, especially if you're male to female, you're gonna end up looking much hotter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a bum hole. So what? Yeah, I got a bum hole. That's hot. And welcome to yet another episode. Three Speech Podcast. I am as ever the mad lad of Jihad. And to my left, we have Controlled Opposition, formerly Mr. Hate Speech. It's Mr. Leo Kerr.
Hello. How is everyone? I can't hear you. We're in a studio recording.
Zip that zippity dot. How's things?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Where's Nico?
Nico couldn't attend today.
Couldn't take it. And then we have no producer, so it's just me and Leo in this highly gay container together, discussing stuff.
And after this, we're going to go to the gym in Vauxhall to get even less heterosexual. Talking of things that aren't heteronormative, we've had the Bud Light advert with Dylan Mulvaney. Mm-hmm. You know, the trans woman.
AB InBev. You know what's interesting about this? Before we go any further, right?
Yeah.
I used to work for AB InBev. As you know, I worked for Bex.
You were the previous transgender influencer.
That's right. I was the previous transgender. I did a good job, right? But I was when I was there, they had to, when they put anything online, what is interesting, if you go to like Bex.com or wherever, you have to do an age check. Yeah. And I lost my job because they said, oh, you're appealing to kids. Right. That's what they said. And
what are they doing now?
Yeah, well, and the thing is, I wasn't appealing to. I had that job 2009, and I was doing references from like our childhood, right?
Right.
And I was doing that, and actually, I said to them,
so looking back to like favorite
thing that they wouldn't be, that they wouldn't be interested in, and it wasn't. And
boxes of puppies.
Well, you know, whatever. It was like, you know, but I was doing like things that like was in it, but everything had to go through an age check, and they were like real strict on it.
Yeah, so I've noticed a lot of these drinks websites they ask you to put in your date of birth, and it's impossible to put in your date of birth different from what it is. So it's a foolproof system. Either that, or they have a thing where you have to click, "Are you over 18?" And how am I going to get around this if I'm under 18?
So I had to generate traffic to go into the site, right?
Yeah.
I had good content, but anytime they'd hit an age check, it would instantly just people would just turn away. Yeah. So you couldn't share it on Reddit. No one would look at it, right? Yeah. So I went to the developer, and the reason I lost the job is Bex. Their only thing was my salary, right? So I was getting paid on like 32 grand a year, right? Yeah. That is a whole budget and a little bit of a budget for me to do stuff, right? We were beating Budweiser, who had a marketing spend at the time of like millions per year. Yeah. But we were crushing them, right? Because they were just doing whatever they were doing at the time. But we were crushing them, sending so many things. Because what I did is I had good content, but I told the developers, give me a link so that when I send them to it, it circumnavigates the age check. So they could understand why there were so many people going through. But the whole point is, they were super strict on age checking and reaching out to minors. That on TikTok will not have that age check. So that's one thing that I was like, that's...
Well, beer companies in the old days probably wanted to make their beer, probably wanted to appeal to minors, as in people who go under the ground, dig out coal. You know what I mean? Now they're trying to appeal to like actual kids and turn, using sort of groomer clowns to do it. Mm-hmm. So the thing about TikTok is I think it's 13 years is the official sort of cutoff point where you can't, if you're younger than 13, you can't use TikTok. Oh. So putting adverts like that on TikTok, surely that's breaching their...
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Their kid thing.
Like that. This is, like most of the people who are watching that video, especially if they see it on TikTok, I bet the followers are going to be under, at least in America, 21. Yeah. So they, if
that's, man, that's right. Because in America, it's 20, some states it's 21 to drink. Because I remember I was working in Chicago, I was working in Indiana and Illinois as a door-to-door salesman. I was like 19 years old, I think. And
is that during your Rodney Trotter phase?
I can drink, I did look like Rodney Trotter. I actually had really long hair. I looked like a heavy metaler.
Turning up on your moped.
Hair down to my arse, and I had to get it cut off because I was knocking on doors and everybody was like, get off my porch. Surprised I didn't get shot like that poor kid in Missouri or whatever it was.
I haven't seen that.
But also this kid, 16 years old, he went to pick up his cousins and went to the wrong house. I don't know, maybe he just hadn't been to his cousin's house before. But anyway, went to the wrong house and got shot.
Nah, he's fucked up.
Said he ran. Well, one news thing said he entered the house, in which case it's like, that's kind of like they do have laws that if somebody obviously in Britain, somebody enters your house, you just got to bend over, present your anus, and like let everybody take all your stuff.
You have to suck them off. You have to give them the courtesy blowjob.
Before or after?
Well, you got to give them the courtesy blowjob before, then show them around.
Then show them around, then they have the anal.
Yeah, well,
right, yeah. So that's a better system than it used to be, because I think British cops, like in the 90s, it was, they had the burglar would have the anal with you first, then you'd show them around, and then you'd have to suck them off, and obviously the dick would have
shit on it.
Yep. But what are we talking about? The Bud Light.
Dale and Mulvaney, they've lost. Well, at the point they lost six. It's hit their stock to 6 billion.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. But it's like, man, stocks fluctuate. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but I think this will impact them. Do you want to see a video of like our greatest conservative hero reacting to? Well, there's a couple of them. So there's Kid Rock.
Oh, I've seen this one.
Yeah. Well, watch it anyway because it's cool as fuck. Kid Rock, there he is.
I'm feeling a little frisky today.
He's feeling frisky.
Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible.
If you're listening to this, Kid Rock is shooting crates of...
He's shooting crates of Bud Light that he went to... He actually had to send somebody to the shop to buy it.
Yeah, and buy it. So
then he could shoot it.
He's actually making the money.
Yeah, maybe there's a spike in sales because conservatives want to shoot it with a machine gun.
Well, actually,
what a country where you can like put beers on a picnic table and shoot them with a machine. Try that in. Imagine you went down to like, you know, Chiswick Park or something.
That's obviously his house.
Swans getting blown up in the background and stuff. What do you mean that's obviously his house?
That's obviously on his own land.
Really?
Well, obviously... He's a
It's a picnic table.
Yeah, he's got a picnic table in his own. It's not a state park, it's his house. He's a multi-millionaire. When you're a multi-millionaire rock star,
no, you just go out to a public park and you just start shooting beer. It's America. It's the land of the free. It's your constitutional right.
Pretty certain that's his house.
Constitutional right to shoot beers on a picnic table. So there's that, but there's this other guy who reacted to. Let's just find him. Where is he? Here he is. This is another true American patriot.
I'm not sure this is a good look for the conservative right. So it's a fat guy just throwing beer on the ground.
Yeah, so he's in a supermarket, in a Walmart. Look how big the aisles are in American supermarkets, by the way. It's amazing. So much space there.
American supermarkets are rubbish, though.
Somebody's filming this guy. So he's getting all the like crates of Bud and stuff and chucking them on the ground. And then he threw a can at the person filming him, which... came pretty close.
Yeah, but it's my psyops. I always think, send this video to Simon to edit in. I always think stuff like this is left wings pretending to be right wing to make right wing look bad.
Nah, there's no way a left wing person could look that right wing. You know what I mean? That is,
I don't know.
That's a genuine right wing person right there. And he's getting arrested. Like a left wing person, unless it's all charade.
No, I think we do live in a WWF world.
Well, yeah, we definitely do. Seeing the Trump playing cards video. Well,
what's the Trump playing cards?
I'll show that later. Let's talk about the Bud Light thing, because this is a thing. They're saying, oh, it's damaged Bud Light, but like, 'cause it dropped like 6.
This isn't the Shine a Light podcast. This is a Free Speech podcast.
Why did that come up?
So basically, quick story: MOOCH switched studios, moved everything to Peckham, then.
We're so progressive.
Yeah, we're progressive.
Yeah.
Then they've come back to Vauxhall, but he got a new TV, but it's got a fucking
Why is it looping?
It's got a new screensaver on it. It won't shuffle off. It won't off. So then, but it keeps on going mad.
Right.
Wait, we're not progressive anymore. There you go.
There we go. We got. It's actually a rainbow flag, but it's all mixed in together.
But it will turn off. Oh, fuck off. Maybe we should just turn the TV off.
No, because it's good having that behind us.
It is good.
Why it was fine? Did you press something?
No, because it turns out...
Freeze it on that one.
It won't freeze. Oh, actually. I realised how to do it. Wait a minute. Press pause. What? It won't put... It's just changing.
This is great content.
This is great content. And then obviously we've got someone banging. Make more noise, if anything.
Yeah.
Recording.
We're in a shipping container.
What we were talking about?
Bud Light. So yeah, everybody's like, oh, it's good, but the thing is, I mean, they're probably trying to appeal to all the old. Can you shut up?
No.
All the like old fat guys that drank Bud Light that voted Conservative or Republican or whatever. They're all in AA now.
That's what the woman said.
So they need to get a new market. And what's the biggest youth market at the moment? Trans.
Should I go outside and see if someone knows that we're recording once?
Yeah. Paid for the studio. Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Like, we could have paid for it. Tell him, threaten him.
I'm scared. Can you
threaten him?
Can you go threaten him?
No.
Well, I don't want to go threaten him.
You're more threatening than me.
Nah, he looks like a working class bald man.
Really?
Yeah.
Real working class.
Well, he's in his mid-50s.
Right.
He's in his 50s. Hopefully he's sharp.
So yeah, Bud Light are courting the newest...
And women always drunk it anyway.
The fastest growing demographic. Actually, the second fastest growing demographic. The fastest growing demographic is Muslims in Western Europe. Second fastest.
What's their drink intake like?
They can't drink booze. They've got to. Even Bud Light has got too much alcohol in it for them.
Is that true? Muslims can't drink. Do you know what? You know what is inherently wrong?
What?
Halal Percy pigs.
Why? Yeah, Percy pigs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a pig.
Yeah.
How could it be halal?
I saw they made halal Percy pigs for fucking Ramadan. It's like, this is an insult to the Prophet. You can't make, peace be upon him, you can't make Percy pigs, even if they're halal.
It's got a picture of a pig in the packet. It looks like a pig.
Yeah, it's
got
an
a little
insult.
curly tail and stuff.
I told you, man.
That's because, I mean, it's iconography. It's imagery. Imagery matters in religion. You can't eat pork, but you also can't eat a picture of a pork.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Inherently wrong. Anyway, go on. So what's the fastest? The transgenders is the fastest growing demographic.
So it's the fastest growing demographic.
Is it?
Probably.
Okay.
So
these are facts.
Loads of new transgender people. So they're like, well, let's get on board. And also,
actually, that can't be right, because I heard that transgender people are less than 1% of the population.
Yeah, less than 1%, but growing fast.
So you think this is a good advert? You think this is a good advert?
Makes perfect sense. Also, all these women, you got to understand, there's a lot of women that are like, oh, we don't like the transgender people in sports and, you know, men coming into our spaces and all that sort of stuff. But then loads of women always vote for, throughout history, all religions have been propagated by women. It's always women saying, let's go to church on a Sunday.
Yeah,
even though the religion
makes me go to church.
Exactly. Even though the religion says that, you know, puts women on a lower pedestal, you know, removes their voice and all the rest of it, subjugates them. Women love that. They love being subjugated by male patriarchal organizations.
That's right.
So that's why women innately, in their core, love the transgender woo-woo ideology.
This podcast is brought to you by highpoint.care. Use the code 3SP for 10% of your delicious High Point Care goodies.
Yeah, and it's a bargain at full price, so at 10% off, it's 10% more of a bargain.
These are really nice.
They're delicious. And I'm going to drink some of this juice. High Point juice. Freshly squeezed from CBD plants.
3SP for 10%. I think we might need to find at least a new studio. New studio. We're sorry if you can hear all of this noise.
Yeah, there's a bit of a building site going on.
So I'm gonna apologize.
But yeah, I think it's gonna, like, women love all this. The Dylan, even though Dylan Mulvaney is basically doing a really sort of offensive caricature of a woman being like, I don't like bugs, and I'm silly and ditzy, and I'm such a bimbo.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, imagine if transracialism was allowed. And somebody came out doing that, but for a
they did, but what's her face?
A really racist depiction of a black man.
Well, they did Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah, but Rachel Dolezal wasn't coming out and being like, "Hey, what up, man?"
What up, bitch?
I can't even do it. But you know what I mean.
The thing is, transracialism makes more sense.
Quit jiving me, turkey.
But transracialism makes more sense than transgenderism.
Yeah.
If you think about it logically, because you can. Race is genuinely a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
You can be like fully white, or you can be a mix of this, you can be a mix of that. So you can actually be a different, like, a mix of this, and this. But sex is apparently binary. Gender is fluid. But it makes kind of sense to be transracial, possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe not to come out and do stereotypes, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, and I think there's genuine transgender women who just sort of look and act like real women. Dylan Mulvaney is like a weird attention-grabbing caricature.
Man, okay, so this is the problem. Everyone was like, I was chatting to someone. The problem is you always going over the same topics on Three Speech. You talk about trans people,
who was
trans
this?
Issue. I can't remember now.
Them.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, it's always in the news at the moment with Dylan Mulvaney and this and that. I think, my personal opinion, trans rights activists such as Dylan Mulvaney have done more harm for trans people than anyone else, because trans people existed 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And no one cared. So do what you want.
Yeah.
But now you've got like, you know, Dylan Mulvaney just like making a mockery of stuff in, oh, look at me drinking my Bud Light, I'm a true woman in a thing. And like people are just getting angry. No one gave a shit 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And most trans people want to get up, go to work, come home, do their shit. They don't want to be used as like a political punching bag to have.
And they don't want all this attention on them.
Yeah.
People say, oh, you're still, why are you like creating all this strife and the culture wars? It's like, man, I didn't decide to send drag queens into schools. I'm talking about it because it's happened. If it never happened, I wouldn't talk about it. You know what I mean?
To be talking about COVID.
We'll be talking about face masks still.
Ukraine. Basically, every day something different's happening. So, my opinion, trans rights activists have done more to hurt trans people. Because people know, most people didn't care or were indifferent, had no opinion on it. But now people are actively... At first, but now people are actively pushing back against it.
Yeah.
They're creating like, oh, we're the most like ostracized and hated speech. You're creating that because you're bringing it by pushing it down. And
they're teaching LGBTQ stuff in schools, and it doesn't come under sex education. It comes under relationships, so it can be taught to like pretty much any age. And it doesn't, you know, there's no scrutiny. Not that there's any scrutiny on sex education anyway. That's one of the problems. It was sort of like, you know, just accepted that people were going to be sensible about it. And now they're sending drag queens in to teach kids about, you know, 142 genders. And if a child questions it, they get told they're offensive and transphobic and homophobic and sent out the class.
This is what they should do, I think. I reckon, because I would never send my kids to Drag Queen Story Out, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you would either.
But if your kids are at school, they get the...
Well, this is the thing. It should be an opt-in thing. Like, I'm not going to send them to a Muslim school. I'm going to send them because they're not Jewish or Muslim, right? So it should be that LGBTQ gender ideology. It's now basically akin to a religion. The way it operates, the way it works is the same as a religion. It should be an opt-in process. Like, we teach this at this school. Okay, I'll send my kids there. If that's what you want your kids to learn, fine. But some kids are like, some family, man, let kids be kids.
Yeah.
Some parents just want, man, my kid's 7.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to know about blowjobs at 7. She doesn't need to know that you know, about fucking anal. Just let them be kids.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look at this.
What was it?
So it's drag queens in a school. Where the hell is food?
But like, if you're a drag queen, why would you want to go into a school?
Yeah.
And why would you want to? And then some of them are maybe just reading stories, but some of them are going in and twerking and stuff. So why would you do that?
Yeah. Like, ask not why your children want to hang out with drag queens. Ask why the drag queens want to hang out with your children. You know what I mean? Obviously, children are going to be attracted to like or interested in stuff that's brightly coloured and weird.
Children
and stuff.
don't know what children get shown. What they get shown.
Yeah. It's indoctrination. But yeah, this is the video.
Why are you nervous? But I meant, like, I've never met anyone that's not. I can't really explain.
Is this your first time seeing a drag queen?
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
Excited, but a little bit nervous.
What'd you say?
Excited, but a little bit nervous.
I'm a little bit nervous. I've never seen a drag queen before.
And what do you think?
I think it's cool.
It's great?
Yeah.
Why are you nervous?
I'd love to see a little racist kid in there. So, think it's shit.
Yeah, I wonder if that happened if they cut it out.
Listen, they need to go do this video in Hackney, man. I'll tell you to get some of them.
Would you agree that makeup is for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Where do you buy your drag clothes?
This is I bought this at Value Village, secondhand. I make a lot of it, and sometimes I'll buy things secondhand and I'll alter them to make them more drag.
Yeah, was it Moses? My mate was saying, like a kid, because he's based in the Midlands. He works.
He's hilariously funny.
He's hilariously funny. He was saying at his kid's school or something. Yeah. A kid came in and was talking about how he's got 2 mummies. And the teacher was all like, "Oh, that's so amazing! That's so progressive! That's so wonderful!" And thinking just like lesbians. Yeah. And then turns out his dad's Muslim.
Yeah, got 2 wives. 2 wives. The way it should be. It is progressive. 2 wives is progressive. Polyamory. That's funny. He's very funny. He doesn't do comedy.
He's a very funny man. So Bud Light brought out a new advert.
But did you see the Bud Light apology?
Yeah, oh man, that Bud Light apology. And also, because you know Bud Light, or Anheuser-Busch, or whatever they're called.
Anheuser-Busch, AB InBev.
AB InBev, they are one of the biggest donors to the Republican Party.
Are they? Oh, really?
Yeah. So they are obviously, man, like the top execs, they didn't know that this is happening. They just said, yeah, no, we don't know what TikTok is or whatever. Here's some money. Like when you were doing this stuff for Bud, here's some money. You just go and do it. You know, if it engages, if you do some guerrilla marketing, pay some influencers or whatever. Yeah, whatever makes us more money. You know what I mean? And then obviously some woke
6 billion did loot. But they will feel that. I know you said, it goes up and down, but 6 billion is a drop.
Man, look at the what is it? ABV? What do you call it?
InBev. I don't know if that InBev stock price is the same. I think because they keep
Anheuser-Busch.
They specifically say Anheuser-Busch, but it is actually AB InBev.
Right, so let's look at the stock price.
Maybe now's a good time to buy the stock.
Probably not. So look, I mean, it's like this is when over the last year. Well, in fact, last 6 months. So it was at $45. It went up to $66,
you know why?
$67.
You know why? Super Bowl.
Right.
I reckon.
Probably not. But
well, why has it gone up so much then?
I don't know. Share prices go up and down for
but that's
a variety
quite a big
of reasons.
Increase.
So that's a big increase. And then it took a tiny dip after the thing. It went down to 63 at its lowest point. And now it's back up again to 65. So it's not really like...
You think it's just...
This is just fluctuations. So...
But it did wipe 5 billion off.
This is I mean, look...
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying.
I mean, markets are always moving.
What happened there? What date was that?
22. But I doubt this. I mean, it might... The thing is, not that many people are going to be aware of it. Maybe more in America because, they got Fox News, which, focuses on stuff like this. But over in the UK, so many people are just completely unaware of all this stuff going out. And they won't realise until there's, a big scandal. And even then they don't care. The one thing that I think might make the sort of child transitioning thing become a big scandal is the fact that it's middle class kids. Nobody gave a shit about grooming gang victims because they're working class. They don't have a voice. You know, nobody's looking out for them.
I don't think anyone cares about kids transitioning.
No, there's going to be a huge scandal, and all the parents are going to be, but we were told it was a good thing, and we're protecting them, and we're caring for them, and it's essential healthcare. And it's like, man, what planet did you think giving your kid hormones, puberty blockers, sterilizing them, putting them on a pathway to surgical transition? What world did you think that was going to turn out to be a good idea? Maybe for a handful of kids, it's the right thing to do, but for the vast majority of kids, don't give them any drugs or hormones or cut them up or anything like that.
I think they should be allowed and have that option to do it.
Well, man, if they want to do it, like you said, there's no
comebacks.
No comebacks.
That's the thing. If they
sale is final.
They should be presented with, we'll support your transition for the rest of your life.
Yeah. But
we're not going to help you detransition. You can't got no legal remedies. They need to understand the ramifications of the choice. If they're happy to make it, fine. Yeah. Because I get it. I mean, if you transition before puberty, you're gonna, especially if you're male to female, you're gonna end up looking much hotter.
Yeah. You want the big hands.
Yeah, you know
stuff, yeah.
But so I understand what they're fighting.
We're ruining Britain's next Miss Universe. But yeah, the trouble is all the experts that are advising them, all the people that the mermaids, the Sandyford, Tavistock, that are advising them are sort of bought into the gender ideology. They I've no doubt that most of them think they're doing the right thing. And
okay, but here's where it's at. From my point of view, we've said this from back in the day, right?
Yeah.
From Nonce of the Week, right? I always said this whole gender ideology is if a kid can consent to transitioning under the age of 16, what else can they consent to?
Yeah,
they can consent to sex. Now, just this month, the UN, if you bring it up, have said children, although it's not legal, can consent with adults. They actually said they can consent to sex with adults. The UN. So, here
we go. Mumsnet, classic place to go.
It's on the actual.
No, that's what I mean. I'm just saying, Mumsnet is the place, and people are like, "Oh, Mumsnet, that's a far right neo-Nazi."
Don't go on a neo-Nazi Mumsnet group.
Yeah, because mums, when they don't think anybody's watching, they don't need to have their guarding opinions. Mums,
the Mumsnet where they chat about cowpole, fucking Pampers and fucking AK-47s.
Yeah, here we go.
What does it say? There's an actual, but yeah.
So and this is the ICJ. So this is the International Commission of Jurists. So this is this is a legit UN. I think it's UNAIDS or something.
So basically, the UN have just said, look, it's illegal, but come on. Well, so they're paving the way for what we've been saying, which is actually why. So people say, oh, why are you always talking about it? It's like, we don't want to talk about it, but this is a story that you're going to say, and that we mentioned, people are going to drop down dead from the vaccine. No, that's bullshit. And people have been dropping down dead from the vaccine.
Yeah.
I mean, not ones we want, but there you go.
Yeah, so here we go. Adolescents' evolving capacity to consent in certain contexts. In fact, even if not in law, when they are below the prescribed minimum age of consent in domestic law.
So children can consent in certain contexts. If the adult is sexy, they can consent. That is what they're...
Yeah, if the adult's paid.
Yeah.
But this
You've been trafficked just right.
But their get out, their excuses like, oh no, we're talking about, two 15-year-olds or whatever. But it's like they don't specify that. And this is the thing. This is how legislation and bad legislation gets passed, because they say, oh no, but the hate crime bill, whatever it is, what we mean is this. But it's like, that's not what you've written. And what you've written here says that adolescents can consent.
And is open to interpretation.
And also the age of adolescents, their defined age for adolescents is, I think, from 9 to 19 or 10 to 19. So we're talking young kids, pre-teen kids. So yeah, by their own definition, this is dodgy as hell.
Well, but also it's open. It's just another slowly opening of the door.
Yeah.
Minor attracted people. Imagine I told you minor attracted people 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You'd laugh in my face. What are you talking about?
And what the thing in 10 years' time, the Overton window is shifting.
And this
far.
shifts it as well.
In 10 years' time, people are going to be like, "Oh, you're being pedophobic." I'll get people fired for pedophobia.
Well, Peter Fatchell, the bastion of the gay rights movement, now he's come out and said, "Oh, well, actually, it's not so bad." He wrote an article to the Guardian. Actually, you've seen his comment. What he said, famously, he was like, "Well, I've got loads of friends who have sex when they were 9 years old and they're fine with it."
Yeah.
And that is just another opening of the
I think he said there's one friend who, so I don't think he advocated.
He did kind of
I don't think he was advocating, but he was just saying the reality is that, one of my friends.
But it's not even about the reality is or one of his friends. It's about you normalizing the discussion.
Seeding that into the thing.
Normalizes it onto the
next.
And
I think this has to be a red line. You know what I mean? Like
what pedophilia has to be a red line.
It has to be a red line.
I can't believe you draw a line in the sand on pedophilia. You fucking right-wing bigot. I can't believe this. Listen, maybe you're against pedophilia. That's what it's like though, right? How dare you be against pedophilia? So bring up that SNL fucking clip. You could at least make it funny. Like if they'd come out and said, "Listen, you know what? We need to give kids. They need to be allowed."
Yeah,
and because otherwise they're gonna grow up and be fucking ugly, mannish women. I'd laugh. I say, at least you're telling the truth.
We're talking about. I mean, this is the thing. Like, what proportion? Like the studies that we got, and there's a study done. Like Sweden is the healthcare system there is sort of like compiled the results of lots of studies. The trouble with a lot of the studies are just incomplete. Like there's a high attrition rate, and obviously the people that drop out, the people that stop engaging with the studies are the ones that it's not working for. So the studies end up just confirming, the affirmative approach, because they're the ones who stay in the study and make it to the end. But what the studies are showing is that like the vast majority of kids that have gender dysphoria, once they hit puberty, that resolves it. Once, if you leave it for a bit, that resolves it. It's a social contagion. It's replaced anorexia and bulimia as, sort of middle-class teenage girls' way of controlling their bodies and desexualizing their bodies.
But no one's talking about trans men.
Yeah, because honestly, man, like, if you want to be a trans man, like I say in my show, like if a woman wants to be a man, she just stops shaving. You know what I mean?
But no one talks about that. I put that to Biddy, and she was like, "I don't care about them."
Yeah. Yeah, nobody's like trans men in sport.
Yeah, no, men and women are exactly the same. Well, how come there's no trans men dominating the only thing they're dominating is the habitat, cleaning the house. That's sexist.
That is sexist, Darius. Yeah,
I retract that statement.
Not a good sexism like Dylan Mulvaney would have.
That was bad sex. I retract that sexism. I'm sorry. I apologize to anyone who was offended by that.
Coming back to the thing about the age. how there's a sort of pedo-esque thing that they're putting. They're saying, oh, but if kids can consent to this, what else can they consent to? I think in Scotland they were pushing it because they wanted to bring down the age of voting, because young people vote for the SNP because young people are absolute morons. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, if you think you're a dinosaur or transgender or whatever, you're going to vote for the SNP. So that was part of their plan, I think.
What's happening with the SNP's finances? What's that story?
So there are rumours that Nicola Sturgeon is going to get arrested today or soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Today is the Wednesday the
19th.
19th.
Yeah.
If it comes true, then we told you about it first, but probably a week later because
we got to edit this.
We got to edit. But what is the
docs.
finance story?
So basically, the SNP said they're going to push for another independence referendum. So they had a fundraising call. They raised $600,000.
Yeah.
And man, I did a video about this on my own channel. Got far more views than this stupid podcast would get.
All right.
But
that's the kind of high level support that we want. Dedication to the podcast. Gone.
I'm on 120 odd thousand at the moment. What's the anyway? I'm not going to criticize this podcast. But
it's your podcast.
It's not my podcast.
It's your podcast.
This podcast.
Yeah, it's yours as well.
Yeah, it's mine as well. But if we did it my way,
we'll do it your way.
Well, let's do it my way.
Well, go on then.
Get famous and successful.
We'll do it your way.
We'll do it my way.
We'll do it then.
Yeah, we're going to do it my way.
All right, we'll do it. We'll start now.
Going to be some changes around here.
All right, then we'll start now.
Right, we're starting. Well, yeah, I need a bit of time to prepare. Anyway, basically, the SNP had this fundraising drive. They're saying, we're going to have another referendum. Come on, let's get independence. So they raised $600,000 from these donors and sponsors and stuff. And then they never had the push for the other second referendum.
So they just kept the $600,000.
Well, so the donors were like, wait a minute, what happened to that money? And they're like, oh, no, we had to, there's other stuff, party running costs, whatever. So then that sort of is what spurred the police to look into it, but they're finding all sorts of other stuff because also the SNP, Scotland's pretty dodgy, and the SNP
Scotland's dodgy.
Scotland's dodgy. The SNP sort of centralised power, so the police Scotland used to be all these different forces around Scotland. There's 8 different forces. They made it centralised it so they could have more power over it. They've got more power over the courts and stuff like that. So the head of the equivalent of the head of the CPS in Scotland is also the legal advisor for the SNP. So there's a real conflict of interest there. The person, so if the SNP was to get prosecuted, the person prosecuting them
would be themselves.
Would be yeah.
So why are they trying to prosecute them then?
So the police are investigating because there's money, but they're finding other stuff. There's a motorhome that costs like $110,000, which sounds like a lot for a motorhome, and the SNP are saying, oh no, but we're going to use that as a battle bus. But their finances are in disarray because so many members, they've lost 30, 40, 50,000 members. They're down, I can't remember how many they're down to now. So a lot of people that were, the taps have been turned off for money. You know what I mean? So, I've just got to see what else comes out. But there's so much other dodginess in Scotland. There was so a close pal of the SNP's was given a big contract to build ferries, and we're talking hundreds of millions of pounds. And the ferries still haven't been built. They still haven't been launched.
It takes a long time to build a ferry.
Oh, they've had a long time.
How long have they had?
They've had years and years and years.
2 years?
More than 2 years. It's like 7 years or something. It's loads of time. So there's dodginess there. Stuff. So much of Scotland's economy is controlled as public sector spending. So obviously the government then has sway and influence over, who gets, who bids for things and who gets awarded these tenders. So I think they're gonna. I mean, there's rumours they could uncover dodginess there.
Why did they have a police tent in Nicola Sturgeon's back garden?
People were saying they were digging up the garden. I don't think they were digging up the garden.
What were they doing then?
I don't know.
Looking for a dead body.
I don't know. I bet, you know what?
She's lesbian though, right?
I bet they had a little donut station in there.
No, that's American cops.
Yeah, she is. Well, there's rumours that she's, because Peter Murrell, have you seen Peter Murrell, her husband? No. So her husband was chief executive of the SNP and she was the leader. But it seemed like a marriage of political convenience rather than passion rather than raw
Because I heard that
passion.
And there's been rumors since last Edinburgh Festival, or maybe even before, that she was about to be outed as a lesbian. Allegedly.
Yeah.
We don't know that for sure.
We don't know that for sure. It's a rumor.
It is a rumor that we're spreading.
But yeah, so it could all come tumbling down.
I hope we don't have any listeners in America. Imagine that joining in and enlisting about Scottish National Party.
I think they'd be interested because this is so the SNP are like a progressive woke lefty party, like the Democrats.
Who are more
I think
who are the top ones?
These
Canadians,
Scotland. There was a lot across Europe, but they're slowly getting replaced by right wing parties.
Swinging the other way.
Yeah. So like Sweden, all those places.
I haven't heard any mental shit from Trudeau for a while.
Oh man! So just this week, there was an email sent to Toronto school teachers. This is about the trans stuff as well.
Oh, really?
But it was about the gender pronoun thing. I don't know if anybody like listening works in a place where people put their gender pronouns in the email or announces them before meetings and stuff like that. But this was to school teachers, and it said. So, this is what you must do. At the start of class, you say, or introducing yourself, you say, my name is whatever, my pronouns are blah, blah, blah. And then you encourage the children to say their names and state what their pronouns are. And if any children resist, if any children question it or don't want to give their pronouns, if any children don't want to comply with giving their pronouns, that means they're homophobic and transphobic and should be reported.
To who?
To the headmaster or whatever.
Then what happens?
Well, I don't know. They get in trouble.
And then what happens?
But isn't that on its own?
No. But the point that I'm extrapolating is this. It's not going to do it. It's like, this is why people don't want to do it, because, okay, we're not going to do that. What happens?
Yeah.
You're going to eventually, what are you going to do? You're going to get fined. All right, I'm not going to pay the fine. Then what happens?
Yeah.
Eventually, it extrapolates to you're going to get thrown in prison because you objectively refuse to say something that you don't believe is true.
Yeah.
And that's why this is
compelled speech.
This is why it's an issue, because eventually they thought, just be kind. It's like, yeah, but it's eventually going to end up that if someone resists every point, you do end up in prison.
Yeah.
So it's compelled speech. And then there's something interesting I was going to say, then I instantly forgot it because I made one good point. I can't remember now.
It's hard remembering stuff.
It is hard remembering stuff. Whatever. What was I going to say? Anyway, yeah, so that's mad that they're compelled speech.
Yeah. And Bud Light, did you see the advert that Bud Light brought out? So they brought out this apology that wasn't an apology because they obviously didn't want to say sorry, because if they said sorry, then people would be like, why are you apologising? You're transphobic.
From their CIA operative CEO.
Yeah. It's just like,
these people were saying it sounded like it was written by AI. Write an apology without saying sorry. And they might say, we believe in our core values and we've never wanted to get involved in this. What do you mean you never wanted to get involved in this? You made it. You knew. What do you think you're doing when
they said we didn't want to be divisive. It's like, so why you picked Dylan Mulvaney then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pick LeBron James or someone. He ain't going to divide anyone. It was like, LeBron drinks blood. Great, fantastic. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen?
But the whole thing was like, we just believe in our core values of you giving us money for beer.
Well, did you see the marketing director for who did it? She actually said it's a dying brand. And it was all fratty.
Whoa.
And it was. Have you not seen that video?
I've got it. I pulled it up somewhere. Where is it?
She was like, "It's a dying brand. They were fratty. We don't want to be associated with that. So we're pushing forward to change." But actually, you kind of echoed that at the beginning of the podcast. She said that's why she's done it.
Here it is. Should we watch this?
Yeah.
Businesswoman. I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light, and it was, this brand is in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time, and if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light. So I had this super clear mandate. It's like, we need to evolve and elevate this incredibly iconic brand. And what I brought to that was a belief in, okay, what does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone. It means having a campaign that's truly inclusive and feels lighter and brighter and different and appeals to women and to men.
Man,
and representation is it's part of it.
When I was working for Bex, they were like, we need an advert. I said, listen, just make this advert, but with real people. It was the Simpsons beer advert.
Down with sexism. look at all those feminists.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
That'd be the best advert.
All right.
That's why I think they should have just made that.
Yeah.
But exactly that, shot for shot, the same. It's just a joke. That'd be funny, and it was a funny advert. But they refuted me, and now they.
Well, I'm really surprised they turned down your.
I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was funny as fuck.
Yeah.
What would you think of to say about it? She's right. It's a dying brand.
Shut up a minute, and we'll listen to what she finishes off, and maybe she'll say something.
People who reflect you in the work, and we had this hangover. I mean, Bud Light.
You're supposed to have a hangover.
A brand of bratty, kind of out of touch humor, and it was
like ours.
really important that we had another approach. So I'm a businesswoman.
Oh.
I'm a businesswoman.
So yes, that's Elise Heinerscheid. So she's the Bud Light's
VP of marketing.
VP of marketing. She looks like that. Who's the New Zealand woman that was
Jacinda
Ardern? That's probably the wokest government in the world, or it was. But yeah, she's got the same dentist. I think she could eat a apple through a tennis racket. But she starts off by saying Bud is a dying brand. It's like, what sort of marketing is that? You're supposed to be talking up the business.
But no young people are drinking much anyway now.
Yeah, that's the thing. And even like, I mean, Bud Light, it's like, it's so weak and it's so pissy. I got to be honest, like Dylan Mulvaney drinking Bud Light is the only convincing part of our transition.
It's the right person to drink it.
Yeah.
What percent is Bud Light?
3.5%.
Oh, is it 3.5%?
3.5%. And it's low calorie.
Yeah.
What's the point?
What's the point?
I mean, I guess the thing is it's for sports and stuff. So, you know, if you're at the game, defense.
But why?
Then you want to drink something that's not going to leave you absolutely plastered. So you can consume quite a lot of it without being plastered. And it's going to, you know, if you're in the hot sun, it's like hydrating you as well. So it's whereas if you drank like, you know what I mean? Like Lek. Like one of those like Polish beers.
Quack.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a quack?
Yeah, and like, what's it, Octo or something?
Quack is
and
like
it's like,
treacle.
man, yeah, it comes out, it's like special brew. It's like you pour it out and it's like, man, I mean, I was dating this French Egyptian lassie.
Yeah, what was his name?
And she had special brew.
What?
I was like, why have you got special brew? What, you tramp? You're like, you know, are you going to go down to the bus stop and drink this? And she's like, no, this is just, you know, this is good beer. I like strong beer. What? And yeah, so that's just like
what percent is special brew?
It's like 9% or something. Let's find out what.
How many cans of special brew do you need to get drunk?
What percent is special brew?
1%.
Do people still drink special brew? 9%.
How many of those would get you drunk then?
Thing is, you'd think special brew would be like a special drink.
Yeah. What does it taste like?
I've drunk it. It tastes, man, it's got too much flavour.
Oh, like
it's kind of
one of those ones.
It's but it's not like it's not like a hoppy one. It's like a it's dark and it's like is it malt? It's like really like too malty.
Not nice.
Not nice. I don't like it. But yeah, 9%.
If you drunk a few of them, you get drunk quick.
Man, if you had one of them, you'd be fucked. I mean, drinking one of them would be like having 3 cans of Bud Light.
Yeah.
I know.
Saving money.
Man, I remember I was at a gig in, is it Eindhoven or something, or somewhere in Europe with Danny O'Brien, and he was on first, and he's doing like half an hour or whatever, and we had like a free bar, so I was getting these beers, and they were coming in like a little wine glass. I was just knocking them back because it's like beer. I'm like, why are they bringing it in this tiny fucking glass? You know what I mean?
There's little quack.
And then like I went to go on stage. I hadn't been talking to anybody or anything. I went on stage, and as soon as I started talking, I realized I was absolutely fucking hammered because those beers are like 10%, like Duvels or whatever it is.
Duvel,
the Chimay. How strong is what percent is Duvel?
In the last episode that you weren't here for with Nico and Radu, we discussed the top 5 hardest comedians in the UK.
What, as in like
who we think the hardest comedians are?
The best at fighting.
Yeah.
So Dave Longley.
Oh, we didn't say him. Yeah, I agree.
You didn't.
Well, Nico said it. I couldn't think of anyone, but go on.
Nico said himself.
No, I'll tell you who Nico said. You say your top 5, and I'll tell you.
So Quincy.
Oh, he didn't say him either.
Man, Quincy, boxer. Oh, yeah. So Quincy's, obviously,
well, Leo's thought of this.
Yeah. Dave Longley, technically gifted with MMA, obviously a very strong guy. Psychologically, I'm not sure how he'd hold up.
Why?
I just think, I don't know if he's got the eye of the tiger, killer spirit. He's a nice guy. Quincy, I think the thing is, if you've been in fights, it makes you better at fighting.
Yeah.
And I think Quincy being a boxer, he's
an actual boxer?
Yeah.
All right, that's Quincy. That's two.
I don't know if he was like amateur or professional or anything, but man, also he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's. I'll go with those two good choices.
So who else would it be? Dave Chauner.
Nabil. Nico went.
Nabil.
Nico went. Nabil's the hardest.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he thinks.
Yeah.
Nabil does boxing and stuff as well.
I mean, I think if you took Nabil's personality and put it in David Longley's body,
I think Nabil's like kind of solid.
No, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to.
That's 3. We need 2 more.
We need 5.
Yeah, top 5.
Top 5. Who else is hard? I'm just thinking.
Basically, if you ever want to start on a comedian, just don't start on Dave Longley, Nabil, or Quincy, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Also, there's Gary Coleman does kickboxing, and he's pretty good. I've sparred with him.
Is he good?
Yeah,
and he's a trained doctor. At least they've started.
And he's a doctor, so if you got a lucky blow in, he'd be able to attend to it with a field dressing and then get back into the fight.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah,
I haven't.
Who else? Well, who did you have?
Well, we got to Nabil, and then he wouldn't elaborate on the rest of his
Elliot
top 5.
Steele.
Nah.
No?
I think Quincy would kill Elliot Steele.
Yeah.
But maybe we should start a fight between Quincy and Elliot.
Imagine, this is the thing, so Elliot, he's like a nice guy and stuff, but I think if he was if there was some, if some egregiously bad had happened and he flipped out, I think he could totally do all that action, all that sparring is all that muscle memory is going to come back and he could destroy you.
Well, he could destroy me.
Yeah, but even
yeah, but could he destroy Quincy?
Nabil.
Or Nabil.
I mean, Nabil versus Elliot would be an interesting fight because Nabil's I
think Nabil would kill Elliot.
Well, he's a larger man. Well, what if Elliot ran up some stairs or something? You know what I mean?
That's fat shaming.
But the
thing is, highly inappropriate.
When you're in a fight, stamina matters and agility.
Nabil's big. He's not fat. He's big.
It's all muscle, is it?
Well, it's not all muscle. I mean, I don't know. I haven't touched him, but anyway. Listen, we've got about 5 minutes of the pod left. What else can we talk about before we end?
I don't know. Who do you think you could batter in comedy? Could you batter Steve Bennett from Chortle?
I genuinely think I could kill Steve Bennett from Chortle. I think.
Well, why haven't you?
It's not for me to beat the shit out of Steve Bennett from Chortle. I actually get on all right with Steve Bennett from Chortle.
I get on all right with him as well. I just think he's sort of ruined comedy with his wussy sort of low testosterone idea of what comedy should be.
Nah, not just him.
Oh, they've all ruined. Oh man, the worst thing that ever happened to comedy was well, first off, women were allowed in.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Man,
being ironic. This is irony.
It's not ironic.
It's not irony. It means it.
Women have come in and sort of taken over all the management and agency. The people behind comedy, behind the scenes. And they're all activists. They all
Did you see JoJo
they all
called
want
out?
to make the world a better place.
Did you see JoJo called out Alan
Anybody
Anderson?
who ever tries to make the world a better place is they're basically Hitler.
But this is what I'm telling you. Did you see JoJo called out Alan Anderson on Facebook?
Yeah.
And then all these things, and then Alan was like to one of them, "You're it's a PR woman. You're just a leash on comedy or something."
Which is accurate.
Yeah, it's funny.
All these PR people like Mel Brown going up and charging everybody $4,000 or whatever.
Mel Brown, one of the worst person
to get you a 3-star in some online only blog.
The Voice or whatever it's fucking called.
Yeah. But have you been paid for Australia?
I've been paid. I don't. I got no problem with Alan. I mean, I think when you work for Alan, you understand that he's a curt individual. Yeah. So basically, for those listening, Alan Anderson's a Scottish promoter who's got a reputation for being a bit of a cunt. And to be fair, he is a little bit of a cunt.
Well, he plays up to that.
He plays up to it, but I think
he's a nice guy underneath.
I think if you. He always
he'll hate us for saying he's a nice guy underneath.
If you know what you're getting into, and he's already paid me on time, and he's all right. The gig's always good. So.
Yeah, Yeah,
it does wind people up the wrong way.
Yeah, he winds people up the wrong way, but also like at the core of it, he's got firm principles and values, and I respect that.
He's like, yeah, he's kind of he's like in wrestling, they used to have it like, oh, I'm gonna break your leg to see how much you want it. He'll haze people when they're coming into.
What do you mean
comedy.
I'm going to break your leg to see how much you want?
So Hulk Hogan, when he wanted to become a wrestler, he was training with a Japanese wrestler.
Yeah.
And what they would do is they didn't want to just let anyone in. You had to really want to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
So they'll haze you, right? So when Hulk Hogan first training, the guy broke his leg on purpose.
Broke Hulk Hogan's leg?
Yeah, he broke his leg. He's training, he just broke his leg to show him it wasn't fake.
Fuck.
To see if he'd come back to train.
Yeah.
Then he came back and he trained.
And what part of the leg did he break?
Well, Google Hulk Hogan leg break. I don't know. He just broke his leg. He snapped. Must have been his femur. But the point with that I'm making is, I think
femur.
I think the thing with Alan is he's just like, when you first start, he'll haze you to see how much you want it. Hulk Hogan gives
Hulk Hogan. So fuck off things pop ups. So it's Mitsuda. Where is it?
Mitsuda broke his leg when he was training.
Man, why don't they just tell us the real story? So Brian Blair, is that what Hulk Hogan's really called?
Terry Blair is his real name.
Right. Was about to Hiro Matsuda broke his ankle on the first day of his training. However, Blair in his appearance on Wrestling Shoot Interviews podcast talked about the real reason. He said, I do not know honestly why Hiro broke his ankle, other than once in a while Hiro would have a tough time with Terry. Terry was learning enough to get into compromising positions before I left. I was the enforcer.
He basically just broke his leg because he was angry with him. So
right.
I want to see if you like comedy. I'm going to break your leg.
Right. Oh yeah, so that's like Alan wants to test that you're.
Yeah, you want to do it in comedy.
And it's good. It's like that's why salmon spawn at the top of a river, so like only the strongest get to spawn.
This is what this podcast has been missing. Your natural wildlife facts.
Yeah.
We used to get them all the time.
Yeah.
Gerbil facts, squirrel facts.
Yeah.
Salmon spawning at the top of river facts.
Here's a squirrel fact for you.
In.
In fact, no, save it for the patron.
Save it for the patron.
Save it for the patron, baby.
Listen, if this comes out before the 20... Actually, no, it won't come up before the 26th of April.
Well,
yeah, it will. We'll post this one next then.
Well, do we have one to post?
Yeah.
All right. Well, whenever it comes out.
If this comes out before the 26th, use code 3SP and you get some discount for tickets to Hate and Live in London if you're there. But I think this is going to come out after it, so it's pointless.
And you can also use 3SP as a code. If you go to highpoint.care, you can get their excellent CBD products. And we're going
to do a giveaway. When we're all in the studio, we're going to pick a winner. We're going to do the giveaway, and that's coming soon. We've got all of them.
We're going to do it soon so we don't eat all the prizes.
But we have gone through a lot of them. But use the code 3SP, get your discount in there. It's good. Thank you for listening. This has been another episode of the Three Speech Podcast.
Sign up to Patreon to find out about squirrels.
That's right.